righty, welcome back to Out of Touch. John Alden and Dustin Shooty with you. Took the week off last week, kind of unexpected. The week before, I had a pre-recorded episode with my former roommate, Alex Zafiro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was something that I didn't really expect to do, or I didn't really know how it would go, but I was very happy with the way that it turned out, and hopefully it was enjoyable for you all too. So either way, I'm back. Dustin's back. Mitchell might be back later. And we're all very busy human beings. And we almost didn't even record this episode tonight because I came in and sat down. Dustin was in here waiting for me. And we'd already delayed when we were going to start doing this by 15 to 30 minutes. And I was frustrated by multiple things. I was frustrated by the fact that I felt like I don't manage my time very well. Frustrated by the fact that I hadn't eaten dinner yet. Before we started recording this, I was just eating microwavable bacon, and Dustin and I were having a nice casual little chat about a bunch of different things. Good stuff, of course. But we've talked multiple times on this show, Dustin, about burnout and really taking care of yourself and mental health, that types of things. And the last thing I said right before we started recording this was that all three of us, me, you, and Mitchell, we're in a different place than we were this time last year, whether it be with our jobs, our livelihood in general, and all of it's good stuff. But learning how to manage that, maybe I just suck as an adult right now. Learning how to manage the different things that come along with different changes in your life.
I think most of us suck at handling it, to be quite honest. We all have those times when it just feels like chaos and you have a million things you have to get done. And then, like I told you before we started recording, like in addition to doing all of those things, it's like you still got to do the dishes. You still have to do laundry. You still got to cook dinner. You still got to take care of your pets. You just got to do all this stuff that like you don't even think about doing. You just get home or are around home and you're like, crap, now I got to do that. So
yeah. And that's what I don't like. I don't like whenever I come home and it's like, oh, now I have to record Out of Touch. I love it whenever we can walk in here and it's like, oh, yes, this is something I get to do today because it's fun and we all get to chit chat and have a good time. And not everything can be perfect the way that you want it to be. And I fully understand that. But there is a part of me, like whenever I'm doing all the different mental gymnastics of it all, of you start trying to figure out like what's necessary. Like, am I wasting my time doing stuff like this? And that feeling's never fun, no matter what you're doing. You'd rather be able to sit down and this just kind of be like, okay, we're having fun doing this. And again, I am. And I do feel like at this point now I'm on the verge of going down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. But at the same time, I am glad to be here. I do think since I did take that extra little time to kind of just chit chat with Dustin before we started, it did help where I was at. Because the first thing I said when I got on here, I said, Dustin, I got to be honest real quick. I don't really want to record right now.
That was the first thing. You know what I think made a difference is that you ate something. Do you know the difference in attitude when you A, eat, and B, sleep? It is, Let me tell you how grumpy I am if I don't sleep. I am a nightmare. Apologies to Abby, who has to put up with me when I don't sleep well. I don't know how she does it because I am a crank nasty. Let me just tell you that.
And you've been doing tons of, I feel like you've been traveling for as long as I've known you, whether it be with the jobs you were at previously or just what you're doing now. You're just kind of in general, it's almost like it's part of your personality, and that's not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing, I feel like. But that in and of itself can probably add a lot of stress whether it's good stress or not, it's still stress.
I do it to myself. I was saying we were in Nebraska on September 14th. Then we went to the Purdue-Nebraska game on the 28th. Then we're going to the Indiana-Nebraska game on the 19th. In between there, we had a trip to Chicago for Big Ten Media Days. It feels like there was something else, but there probably actually wasn't. But it's just like, it's nothing that's been like it's all been fun. But then you have to remember that there's like, oh yeah, you got to spend 12 hours in a car. You got to spend 8 hours in a car. You got to ride a train or whatever the case might. By the way, Amtrak, we did Amtrak from St. Louis to Chicago. Way there was really cool and fun. Like, it was a relaxing train. You had a lot of space, very comfortable chairs, could get up, do all your, it was a nice way to travel. On the way home, I'm convinced that the person who designed the chairs or the seats on the return Amtrak actually had scoliosis and thought that those seats are comfortable, because when I got off the train, I thought I had to have like those Theragun. I had to have my back Theragunned because it hurts so bad.
I've never been on an Amtrak, but my in-laws, I believe, have, but they've taken the Amtrak. Again, I could be wrong. They've been on some sort of a train ride where they get on, I believe it's in Chicago. I could be mistaken. It's either Indianapolis or Chicago. And they ride the train all the way out west to whether it be somewhere in Washington, like Seattle, or somewhere in Southern California, that type of stuff. And I think I'd love to do something like that one day. It could be a very different style of trip, but I've heard that those trains, again, whether or not they're Amtrak, I'm not sure. I've heard that they can be fairly comfortable.
Probably in Chicago, because seemed like that was like, what is it called? Union Station's the one in Chicago, I believe. Grand Central Station's in Washington, I think.
Yeah, Grand Central is Grand Central is New York, or maybe it's both Washington and New York.
Damn it. We're going to have to Google this because I don't want to sound like a dum-dum.
No, we can be dumb. We can be dumb.
We can just speculate wildly. But I think that would be, if you were on the train that we took, look, it wouldn't be like how do I say this? It would be unique. I don't think you'd want to spend like 4 or 5 days on that train. I think that would get old. But if you could do it for like 2 days, I think that would be okay. It's fairly comfortable.
Were there
on the
beds
train ride home? What?
Was there any sort of way to sleep? Like, were the seats that you were on, do they convert into like a bed?
You could lean them back, but here's the other thing: you could pay if you wanted to, John. You could pay for a sleeping cabin. That's in the lower level.
So that is a lower. Okay, so I can't. Yeah, I've never been on a train like that, but the fact that there's a lower level to it, that's very interesting to think.
There was a dining cart. It was like I was in White Christmas.
Or Polar Express or whatever.
Or Polar Express. We drove by a train that said Polar Express on the side. I don't know if it was going to the North Pole or not, but it did say Polar Express.
I also just learned not too long ago, I didn't realize that in the movie The Polar Express that Tom Hanks is like half of the characters in that movie.
Yes. I would like to give a shout out to my acquaintance when it comes to Polar Express and remind him of the Hot Chocolate song. He used to work at a movie theater over the holidays, and apparently they played it for like 3 straight months, that song, continuously.
Gosh, that's got to suck.
And so he has, I think this is correct. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. He has never watched Polar Express, and he will refuse to watch Polar Express because he hates that song so much. You're welcome for putting that in your brain. We haven't even reached Halloween yet.
I will say, when it comes to kids animated movies that are specifically made for Christmas, Polar Express is probably at the top, at least off the top of the brain, right? Maybe I'm not thinking of some better ones, especially when you think of like the older ones. Let's put the old claymation ones in their own category.
Like
because
Rudolph.
those don't count for what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about kids movies made in the last 20, 30 years that are animated in Christmas, whatever it may be.
I'm going to make make a comment, and then I'm going to ask a question. Yeah. Number one is, how is it possible that we talk about like Thanksgiving in September, Halloween in April, and then Christmas in October? How do we do this every time? Number one. Number two is, when you say kid, how would you define kids movie at Christmas? Because I think I would have a wide
kids. I should have probably removed kids and just put animated movie, because Christmas movies in general, I don't think age, like most people have seen all of them, whether they're classified as a kids movie or not.
Because I would stick like Elf in that category, but I think that that's also enjoyable for adults. So cartoon Christmas movies. And
plus with the animated movies too, you got like all adults for the most part know, or whether they enjoy them or not, they know who Tom Hanks is. And so most adults, whenever you watch really any animated movie, you're more so making a connection with the voice actor than the character they're playing, I feel like.
Yep, that's fair. What about, this is tough. The original Grinch, but that was like 100 years ago. It wasn't really. It was probably like 60. But
I will say, though, I don't know if I finished my point with the Polar Express. The songs are annoying. The movie's great, relatively speaking, when you think of Christmas movies. But any song in any movie, not really a fan of that type of stuff. Musicals, and I know that's not really a musical, I don't think. But there's
no,
enough,
it's not a musical.
Yeah.
You know what is good? The new Grinch, like the full animated.
I haven't seen that, but I know I've heard.
I would put
people
that
say
above
good things about it.
It's funny. I would put that above Polar Express, I think. Now, maybe that's recency bias. I haven't watched Polar Express.
I don't even know that I've really seen a lot of the newer animated movies. It might be why my position on Polar Express is more than I expected it to be.
Well, I don't even know, outside of those two that we just talked about, I don't know what another one would be. I don't have one off the top of my head. I'm going to feel really dumb because you're going to name some, and I'm going to be like, oh,
no, yeah. I'm not. I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. But it did bring – so have we had this discussion? I think we have.
Of what?
Is there like a – well, this sparked my brain because it would be a little bit more time of the year. We've talked about like Disney Channel movies, right? On this podcast?
Maybe. I don't know. That's very general. Maybe in some way, shape, or form that I'm not thinking off the top of my head.
So the thing that's funny to me about Disney Channel movies, okay, look, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag, lose my man card for the 47th time to EJ or Elroy or whatever his name was. I like Hocus Pocus. I like that movie. I watched it a lot growing up. But I think if you watched it now, you'd be like, this is the dumbest movie I've ever watched.
And that's okay. I love that you say that because I watched it for the first and only time maybe 3 years ago with my wife because she loves it.
Yeah.
And I could not see the appeal whatsoever. But I had no recollection or the nostalgia that would be involved with that movie because I hadn't seen it previously.
See, when I was a kid growing up, that was on every Halloween. And that was like, I don't want to say that was the one Halloween movie, but that was a Halloween movie that I could watch where I wasn't like, either wasn't frightened or it wasn't like cartoonish. It felt like it was somewhere in the middle where they're like, if you're like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, it's kind of spooky, but it's also kind of funny. So
that brings me into something else. I saw you and Abby tweeting about something about Spoopy movies the other day. And for a while, I think there were, at least I thought there were a couple of different typos in your tweet. And so thankfully somebody else did the deed for me where they tried to correct you, but apparently you said Spoopy on purpose. It's a thing, apparently.
It is a thing. She has told me the story. She's going to have to explain it again because I'm not good enough to explain it. Maybe we could have her as a guest on the podcast to explain Spoopy during a Halloween episode.
I think we need to have, because whenever we're very close to Indiana, Nebraska week, right? Not this week, but the following week.
Yep.
I think we almost need to have, we have to make sure Mitchell's available too, but we've got to have a sparring match between the Nebraska, Indiana fan base, right?
This thing is going to be a bloodbath if we do that.
I would honestly, maybe it just needs to be Mitchell and Abby specifically going at each other, and we just try to moderate it.
We'll be up on the top corner of this. You can't see my fingers. We'll be up here in the top corner, and then they'll be down below fighting. We'll just let them go at it.
So that's an idea that maybe we can, if we can make it work next week, maybe we can try that out or something. Who knows? But I can't even remember what we were saying. We were talking about Spoopy. Yeah. Continue on with that. Well,
I was just saying, like, is there I feel like we've had this conversation. If not, I'm having some serious deja vu. But is there like a Disney movie or something that you like, you watch now and you watch it and you're like, this is dumb, but I love it?
This is dumb. So, okay.
I'll give you another example. Johnny Tsunami. Yeah,
I don't know if this may or may, I don't know why this came to mind. And it's probably, actually, I don't want to say I know why it came to mind because I do enjoy video games now and again. And this is why this popped into my head. But the Pokemon, this is more of a television show, I guess, than a movie, but the Pokemon series. There are times if I, for some reason, wanted to go back and watch an episode that I used to really enjoy as a kid. They used to be like all on Hulu. I don't think they're there anymore, but there was a time where I was rewatching some old episodes, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, because I'd seen some of them as a kid and really enjoyed them. But I remember watching them as an adult, and I was like, yeah, this is bringing back some nostalgic memories, but at the same time, like, this is very much for children. Or yes. I can see why I liked it more as a child.
Correct. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. There's so many movies that I could probably talk about that I won't. But it's just like, that's kind of the thing that I'm in now with Halloween movies. So like, there are specific movies I watch every Halloween. Hocus Pocus is one of them. Abby won't watch it with me, so I got to watch it by myself. She probably
why won't she watch it?
She doesn't like. I don't even know if she's seen it. I'm speaking for her. She has said she would watch it. I shouldn't say that she didn't say that. So she did say she would watch it. I'm not going to make her watch it because I know she doesn't want to. And it's dumb. It's an hour and a half of my dumbness and nostalgia just taking over. So there's that.
Let me interrupt you real quick too. My apologies I hope you don't forget what you're going to say. But one thing I've learned about you over the years, you are very much I feel like you love your way in diving into the holiday spirit, it doesn't matter any holiday. You love classic movies. And I know you've mentioned you like Christmas jazz too, which is kind of an older school style of music. Maybe I'm speaking very ignorantly, but I can tell you have a very old soul in general when it comes to holiday type things.
Yeah, I do. Well, there's so many good. So like this time of year, I have a set amount of movies. I'll watch The Addams Family. We just watched Sleepy Hollow the other day. We'll watch Young Frankenstein. Is that all the ones? I don't know. But then I'll go back and I'll watch like House on Haunted Hill, the old school one with Vincent Price. I'll watch Night of the Living Dead, the original. Last year, my acquaintance and I went to the movie theater in Carmel, where it's like a brew
like
house.
IMAX or something?
No, it's like a brew house where you can like order food and beer instead of just popcorn. They actually have like meals and stuff you can eat. And we watched the Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. Like that's really fun to me. So like at some point we'll probably take 2 Friday nights or something this week where we'll watch kind of old school, quote unquote, monster or horror films. But I love it. Yeah. I love that with Halloween and Christmas.
Well, I remember too, you went to I remember you called it like a Hallmark thing. It was like the little Christmas market or something last year. Does that fit into that same category?
No, I think that was Mitchell. That was Mitchell.
That was Mitchell. Maybe that was Mitchell.
Yeah, because that's up in Carmel, and that's
okay.
Yes, that was him. Are you a scary movie person? We're in.
Am I a scary movie?
We can talk Halloween stuff and be like relevant now.
Yeah, as if everybody just wants the John and Dustin Halloween takes, right?
We can't. But wait, I got another one. I've got another. Maybe this will be more interesting. This will go back to our previous episode, not the last one you recorded, but I think 2 ago now. So you don't like sauces.
Okay, yeah, well, that's one thing I was hoping. We haven't had Mitchell on in a while. I was wanting to get to. I don't know if he has any idea that conversation took place.
I'd
love to hear his thoughts.
But my question is then, okay, so Halloween candy. A lot of Halloween candy is filled with stuff. Delicious peanut butter, caramel, marshmallow, nougat. Do you like those kinds of candies? Or does it have to be
I'll do anything that's not caramel. I don't mind like nougat. Like that's Three Musketeers, right? That has nougat in it.
Yeah. So you
what even is this? Is probably a question that's been asked a million times. What is it? What is nougat?
It's light and fluffy and delicious. That's all I know.
Light and fluffy and delicious. I don't have a problem with that. So I don't really like Reese's, but like I won't refuse them if that makes sense.
Okay, sure.
But like a Twix, I don't need the caramel inside the Twix.
Okay, so you don't like caramel at all.
Which sucks though. Maybe I would. I feel like I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there was a time where I tried it and didn't like it, but maybe I would. Because here's the thing. This is very much a marketing thing, right? So I love the way the Twix packaging looks. It is so enticing, but at the same time, I know there's caramel in it, so I don't deal with. I don't eat it. Try it, whatever it may be.
Do you know the best Twix ever made? They made a peanut butter Twix for ever and ever and ever. And now I cannot flipping find it anywhere. And it is so maddening.
It's probably a limited time. I bet it's gone.
It was not limited to, like, it was not limited time. It was a permanent staple at every gas station I ever attended ever. And now it's just gone. And my heart is broken. Every time I go into a gas station, I'm like, I don't even care if it's 2 years old. I will buy it. But I have not
I'm going to order you. I'm going to custom order you from like the Twix website.
There we go. Yeah. You know what? I have not checked
infused.
that. Amazon's got like a pack of 20 of them that are 5 years old, been sitting in a warehouse since 2019.
Let me ask you this. So I've talked about this on the afternoon radio show that I'm a part of, and there's a chance I've mentioned it on this show before. And this is more about something my wife does, but I just want to get your thoughts on if you think this is. I know the answer to this, but I'm going to get your thoughts on whether you think this is ethical or not. So my wife will sometimes, let's just say she orders a new pair of shoes off of Amazon, right?
Okay.
So in order to save some money, she will take an older pair of shoes that she no longer wants and return them in the package that the new shoes came in to get a refund. That is thievery. Am I wrong?
Well, that is an interesting tactic. I have questions.
Okay.
I don't.
And I'm speaking for my wife on this. So, Alicia, if you're listening, I apologize if I get any of this incorrect.
I think, I'm not going to, this puts me in a bind. I respect her game. She stands on business.
She does stand on business.
I like that. Here's the thing. How did she get away with it? And I am saying that
I've wondered the same thing. And she wanted to take it a step further not too long ago. And I said, I think you're looking to get some bad karma if you do something like this. She was wanting to get a new laptop. You know, laptops are usually a few $100s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what kind you get, could be even more than that. And she was like, I'm just going to factory reset my old laptop and take everything off of it. And they'll never know. I'm like, Alicia, I'm not going to force you to do anything one way or the other. But if we ever have an unexpected expense down the line that comes out of nowhere, I'm blaming it on you. Thankfully, she did not do that thing with the old laptop, but I was a little nervous that she would.
But there are some stores that will do that. They don't care what it is. There was a place in Fort Wayne. I really wish I could remember what this place was called. It's a giant store. They had nothing to do with automobile parts. They would take in like spare tires. Like, just because it's better for their business to just accept it and keep you in the store, and then maybe you'll spend more money. Now,
that's actually probably, when you saying that out loud, like, I wouldn't be surprised. As much money as Jeff Bezos and Amazon has, surely that's probably why he doesn't spend the time or effort with his employees to make sure every return is legit.
Yeah. I think this, in terms of an ethical standpoint, I think it depends on like where your line of demarcation is. Or what's the point of no return? Pun intended. But on touch. Because I have definitely done that with a shirt where like I just hide the tag because I don't want to wear. I'm not going to keep the shirt because I don't need it ever again, but I need it for one instance. So I'll wear it one time and then return it and just say it doesn't fit or something.
Yeah.
But if it's one use, but if I don't know that I would do that after 3. I'm not going to leave the tag in it for 3 years and then try to return
Alicia,
it.
the way she's phrased it, she calls it like a never-ending like money-back guarantee or something like that. That might be phrasing it incorrectly, but she says something along those lines.
I mean, it's fair. I don't hate this. If a store is going to take it back, why would you not? Is she lying to the people? This might make a difference.
Kind of, right? Because it's not the same product.
Okay. Well, I guess what I'm asking is, does the place have a no questions asked return policy?
It's a good question. I would have to consult Mr. Amazon himself.
Wait. Okay. So she just sends them back to Amazon.
So what she does is, let's just say, so she's got the box, right, that came in the Amazon package. And we have a UPS store near where we live that handles all the returns, whether it's Amazon or not.
Yep.
So she'll just put said old pair of shoes that she no longer wants or needs and then package it up as if it were the new shoes that she's returning and send that back through the UPS store.
I changed my mind. I don't care now. I think that's
really just because they allow it to happen, right?
Yeah. If that's your policy and you'll take it back with like no questions asked, then why would you not take advantage of that? I would never.
I'll remember that next. I mean, I've learned to try to think along those lines, but I always think in the back of my head, I'm like, this is going to bite us in the ass one day. We're going to do this enough times to where we end up owing a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that is fair. And is it just with shoes, or does she do it with every product? Plus, by the way,
it's usually clothes. It's never like something like when she was doing the laptop thing. I'm like, this seems like you're taking this a little too far.
Sure. Oh, I had a point I was going to make, but now I don't remember what it was. Oh, now I do. Jeff Bezos and Amazon are doing just fine. She's not defunding anybody. I have less of a. I thought she was like taking a product she bought from another store and then returning it to Target, where the store, like something like that. But if she buys it off Amazon and then returns it via Amazon, I have way less of a problem that way. That's Amazon's problem.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going into my my lovely out of touch topic notes, and what I'm going to do, I have so many things in here. I'm going to pick some random things and see if we have any thoughts on. Here's one that I was going to get to a long time ago. I'm going to say a long time, maybe like a month ago. Did you ever see that Capri-Sun was discontinuing like the traditional pouches, the juice pouches, and they were changing them to like Gatorade style or energy drink style bottles instead?
I did not see that. I don't like that.
There was obviously an uproar from, I guess, traditionalists, even though most of those traditionalists are probably people my age who no longer consume Capri-Suns. At least I would think.
No, I bet they're older. I used to have Capri-Suns in my Lunchables.
How long has Capri-Sun been around? Now I'm going to Wikipedia this thing.
Question. And did they ever sell it in anything other than those pouches beforehand?
And I will say, if you haven't seen the design of the bottle, they look really good. It almost makes you want to. It's almost like Capri-Sun's trying to grow up so that maybe their demographic is not just children anymore. Yeah, because the bottles, maybe I'll pull these up and show them real quick. But
this is a good idea. I loved Capri-Sun growing up, but I hate that you don't. The one thing that Capri-Sun had going for it was you felt like you accomplished something when you got the damn straw into the packet. It is
there were many a time where I had poked the straw all the way through the other side.
Yep. I think we've all been there. And then you have to do like this magic trick to make sure none of the juice gets out the other side when you're trying to actually drink it.
All right, here we go. I'm pulling up the Capri-Sun bottles. So you think this is, so you don't like this?
No, bring back the packets.
So what's okay? Terrible. So I like the idea, especially. I do think they're like we were talking about the traditionalists, right? Being older, you even say people your age. Would you not be? Let's just say you're in a gas station, right? And instead of getting a traditional, I don't know, Gatorade or Powerade, whatever it may be, these types of bottles might be found in the same section because it's fruit juice or whatever it may be. You'd be more likely to purchase something that looks like that, like it's made to be consumed by an adult, than you are with the traditional pouches like you see right here.
I agree with you. Here's what they should do. They should take those bottles and they should have the top of it be like sealed with some sort of plastic seal. And then you still have to use that straw to get your drink.
So for you, it's all about the straw.
It is. It's about kids have it so easy today. I want them to have to work for something in this life. This is ridiculous.
What if they just made the twistable caps just impossible to open?
Okay. Yep, that would work too.
With like some sort of glue.
Yes, there needs to be some challenge associated with getting your Capri-Sun, getting to the actual juice. Here's the other thing. Did you ever like chug Capri-Sun? I don't know that I could take a big gulp.
Like just suck it down in one go? Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I couldn't do that. I would just take little sips out the straw. So I don't know that would be appealing because I don't know if I could drink a big gulp of Capri-Sun.
I'm surprised. Maybe I'm just an idiot when it comes to this. I'm surprised there's not like an alcoholic Capri-Sun like type drink that people don't.
Capri-aholic?
There's got to be something out there, right? If not, we should invent it right here and start selling it. Correct?
I think so. I think.
By the way, Capri-Sun's been around since 1969.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's longer than I thought or not, to be honest.
1969. It seems very. Is that how it started? Was in those packets?
Let's see. So since its launch, Capri-Sun's been packaged in laminated foil vacuum Doyen pack pouches. I know that's what they were called, with which the brand has become strongly associated. So yeah, since 1969, they were in the little juice pouches.
It could not be healthy for us to be drinking out of that. There has to be like toxins and plastics.
It's a very American style thing to do, right?
I would have guessed it. The packaging looks very like 1980s, 1990. Like I would have guessed that came out in like 1988 and then thrived in the 90s.
Because was there ever? Does Capri-Sun have even like a competitor? I don't know that there's like I know there was probably, you know what they do? The Kool-Aid Jammers. Do you remember Kool-Aid Jammers?
Yes, I do remember.
I don't know if those still exist in any way, shape, or form, but I remember that was kind of like the off-brand Capri-Sun. If you got those.
Were those were the bottles, right? Like the twist cap, and it was just like a little bottle of Kool-Aid.
No, they were the same way. They were still the pouches. Maybe they had bottle versions, but they also had the pouch versions.
Okay, I do know what you're talking about. But there were also those like Kool-Aid twist caps. It was like a plastic bottle. They had to be a ripoff.
Yeah, I don't know what that are. Those are gross.
That had to be a ripoff because there was such little actual liquid in those. There wasn't much liquid in the Capri-Suns either. And how did Capri-Sun get to be like the official beverage of Little League Soccer, Youth League, whatever that's called? I don't know.
I guess it's because of like they fit so easily into a cooler and
facts.
They're literally a little pouch. I don't know. By the way, here's the last sentence on the I guess like the introductory section of their Wikipedia. It says American parents often misidentify Capri-Sun as healthy, and it is one of the most favorably rated brands among Gen Z Americans. I would have never guessed either of those. Who's misidentifying Capri-Sun with something as healthy?
I think it's probably the same people that identify Sunny Delight as orange juice, would be my guess.
Ooh, that's interesting you bring up. I love how you call it Sunny Delight.
That's what it was called when I was a kid.
The D stood for. Never knew what the D stood for. I thought it had something to do with vitamin D or something like that.
Well, you know what? That might be. I'm almost certain when I was a kid it was called Sunny Delight, and then at some point they wiped away the delight and just went Sunny D. Because that's
and I'll tell you what, Sunny D reminds me. If my grandparents are listening, you'll appreciate this. I highly associate drinking Sunny D with going to my grandparents' house. I don't know why they were consuming it. I don't know if it was just for us, but I loved drinking Sunny D when I was over at my grandparents' house when I was a kid.
Yeah, I loved Sunny D growing up too. It was, but the funny thing is that like, you know,
You're just going down further and further.
Memory lane, baby. So yeah, Sunny D was, but you felt like you were drinking something healthy, even though you totally weren't. You know what that was sneakily really good for? It had such a, I don't even know what the right word would be, but you would take a drink of it if you had a sore throat, and man, it would help. Sometimes just orange juice would help, but Sunny D somehow did it really well. You know who else? Probably the other people who also think Capri-Sun is healthy, probably the people that think Hawaiian Punch is healthy.
Ugh. I think it's he's gonna join in on the perfect part of the conversation, and that is our guy Mitchell Page. Welcome to the fold, my friend.
Hi everyone.
He's home.
He's home.
It was a long day. I heard a little bit about Capri-Sun and Sunny D, and don't you be talking trash.
We're not talking trash. We're talking trash about people who thought it was healthy.
It's better than other things.
Well, I guess I do. We got to get it. I got to get your thoughts. Are you aware, Mitchell, that Capri-Sun is abandoning the traditional pouches? Like they're going to a bottle thing.
I am. It's just another sign that the world is going downhill.
Yeah.
I'm aware that that's happening. I've told you guys this. I'm a fat kid at heart. So Capri-Suns went down like water to me. That was my water. That and red Gatorade.
Yeah, I've got mini Gatorades, and they're actually the Walmart brand Gatorades. They're regularly in my refrigerator to consume, whether it be for lunch or for after I cut the grass. Almost for some reason, my brain was trying to say mow the lawn, even though I wanted to say cut the grass. That's why I stuttered there.
I have two thoughts. One, there's a Walmart brand of Gatorade.
There is. I discovered them a few months ago. I don't know what your Walmart looks like, if you even shop at Walmart. But in the section that has all of the sports/energy drinks, in my particular Walmart, at the very bottom level, there is the Great Value brand. It says Great Value Sport or something, I think is what it's called.
So I'll have to
very
try
generic name.
It feels, there's certain things that doesn't matter. Peanut butter.
Hard disagree on peanut butter.
No, the regular peanut butter is delicious. Just the same. I'll hear no different.
It's so green.
Canned like vegetables, the same. Ice cream, a lot of times the same.
That's
Gatorade, you just don't touch it. The only thing that comes close, this is a hot take for you guys. The best flavor of sport drink, the best brand, is a red Powerade.
I like Powerade, and I love that you can order it at Wendy's in the drive-thru. That's very random, but that's a go-to for a combo meal for me at Wendy's is a red Powerade.
It's really good on a road trip. For a road trip sport drink, I'm going to backpedal what I just said, Twist Top Gatorade. For whatever reason, after like 5.5, 6 hours of driving, it's the middle of the night, you stop at a middle of nowhere gas station and get a Twist Top Gatorade, squirt some of that, a little squirt, rejuvenate. You could drive for 5 more hours. I'm telling you.
I just go straight caffeine. I mean, I drink soda all the time. I don't drink soda at home very much, but I drink it constantly if I'm driving. That's about it.
What was my other? I had two more. Or I had another thought. Remember I said I had two thoughts. What was my other one?
We were talking Sunny D. I don't know if that'll help ring a bell or not. And by the way, Dustin, while he's trying to collect his thoughts, Sunny Delight. This will show your age. It would prior to the year 2000 was when it was called Sunny Delight. I was born in 97, so I wasn't really conscious enough to remember the Sunny Delight.
I called it Sunny Delight as well.
Yes, I was of the Sunny Delight generation.
Dustin, you probably will remember these. John, you may not. I'm not sure when they phased out. Do you remember the little sugary drinks that would come in the plastic barrels?
I almost brought these up.
Yes. Because we would have those on I don't know if this is a thing outside of Indiana, but like on ice step days, people would bring those in as like the snacks. And it was like, those were so good. Blue, purple.
They were delicious.
Red. They were
Can you imagine like the sugar content in that? I'm pretty
sure
remember
the name of those? I'm aware of what they are, but is there a name for that?
The barrel drink?
I know. I just typed in barrel drink to
Plastic
Wikipedia
barrel
to see if
Kool-Aid drink
shows up.
It was like
Is it Little Hug?
I have no idea.
Little Hug fruit barrels. A brand of fruit flavored drink introduced in 1974. I'm assuming.
Are they still cooking? I may go get some of those, honestly.
They're so good. It's kind of like you probably also had those little ice cream cups. No idea who made them, but it was just like a little cup of vanilla ice cream with
you pull the
wooden spoon on top. You just pull the tab off.
Yep. That's some old man stuff right here.
Here we go. This is exactly what you guys are talking about, the Little Hugs, just so we can clarify what we're talking about here. This is what you guys drank during the I-Step days in elementary school?
Dude. Yep. Yes. Yep. Can you buy those? Can you go to shop?
I see there again in the same aisle at Walmart that I get the Gatorade knockoffs, the Great Value Gatorades. I've seen these.
That's coming to my house.
Mitchell, I don't know if you are for sure going to the Nebraska-Indiana game, but I'm going to buy some of those. I'm going to bring them to a tailgate.
Come at your own risk. I will be there.
And again,
I've got 2 weeks to prepare, Dustin.
I'm not the one you need to be talking about
that. That's what I'm with you.
Before you hopped on here, Mitchell, Dustin and I were talking about, do we need to have next week, do we need to have an airing of grievances between you and Abby as Indiana prepares to take on Nebraska in an epic football
I don't have any
matchup?
grievances. She's just
no screaming match.
Really sad.
She's gonna be really sad.
See, I just said that John and I will be up here as we are now. Abby and Mitchell would be down there, and just be a bloodbath between the two.
I would have nothing to say. She's mad that we're better than them. We're better at every position. She'd be really mad that all of their players can stay in Lincoln. If we had the draft of all the players in a pool, I wouldn't pick a single one of them. Not one. And that's real.
I
said that same thing to you, John. I said that same thing to you in the show. That's real. And how often can you say that? Never. We've got a better coach and a better team. And that's tough for Nebraska diehards that live like Indiana basketball fans, like this is still Eric Crouch Heisman days. It's not. The Miami Hurricanes squashed them like a bug, never to exist again. And that's okay. We are all sad. But that's a fan base that doesn't believe that they're sad. And that's just a problem. When they're all excited, they got this new quarterback they're really excited about that throws the ball to the other team a lot. That's okay. That's okay. But it's going to be real sad. What I've learned, this has been really fun for me. Indiana fans are a bunch of sickos. You can go on pretty much any fan base. Today, some Texas Tech guy tweeted about Indiana playing nobody and Texas Tech should be ranked and Indiana shouldn't be. This is a dude that has 40 followers, maybe. Doesn't tweet anything but the word Indiana. There's no football, no nothing. This thing had 70 comments. All of them, Indiana fans, we are seeking and destroying. That's the only reason that I say, listen, Abby, you're really fun. There are some sickos running around here. And I don't want you to get in that mix. I don't want you to get in it. You're too smart. You're too passionate. You're a true fan, which I appreciate. We got some sickos running around in Bloomington right now. It's almost out of control. Almost. I'm one of them. So I'm not going to say it's totally out of control. But there's some sickos. They're running around here. And we're just going to have some fun. I'm going to be I'll be down there probably by like 7 a.m., maybe 7:30. I was going to try to – I was telling John this. I was hoping that – because you know I'm a Miami fan as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was hoping that we'd get the split kick time. So one of them start at noon, one at start at 7:30. I was hoping big noon.
This is also the reason I can't come up to the game, which pisses me off.
Yes. Oh. And then the 7:30 ABC kick, because Miami plays at Louisville that day.
Both play at noon that day.
Both at the same time. So I was going to try to double dip. But all this means now is I'll be in Bloomington for the whole day. And Maggie's staying with my mom. It'll be Laura and I will be tearing that place apart till about 7 when we inevitably get tired and go back to the hotel.
So that's what us old people do is immediately after the game, we're needing sports drinks. We're needing hydration packs.
I was going to say we need some little hugs, but in my mind right now, we'll be shutting down the bars.
Dustin, I know you have a hard out of right now, which is 9:45 p.m., so we're going to wrap this thing up. Abby, you either need to get on here and fight back, or you need to call and fight back at 502-830-9195, and we can get it all out of the system before the game takes place in a couple of weeks.
And right now is a good time. I haven't had 2 weeks of harnessed energy.
That's true. It's only going to get worse. If you think Mitchell's going to calm down and get more realistic, you are absolutely
incorrect. And so is she. And so is she. It's not just me. She's a psycho, John.
And that's true. I've never met Abby.
She's awesome
in person.
She is firecracker. Watching her tweet after she wasn't even tweeting. She retweeted when Nebraska played Colorado. Nebraska smoked them. She was retweeting Colorado tweets from 3 years ago. Like, she's got the receipts, boy.
She'll be getting in fights with Indiana fans outside of the stadium if Nebraska wins.
No, she won't. I'm a little bit worried. She's a formidable foe. Usually I have something to say. She's going to go for the jugular, and I'm not really ready for it, if I'm totally
Dustin,
honest.
Do you need to back any of this up before we fully say goodbye?
No, I don't need to back anything up. Like I said, if she wants to come on, she can. But I'm not saying. I'm just gonna sit and watch.
Dude, she'll
be one of those things. Me and Dustin will just remove ourselves from the stream and we'll just watch the carnage.
She's a formidable foe. I'm not sure that my sarcasm will be taken well.
We'll see.
Yeah,
what a
we'll
great
see.
way to potentially, tease next week's episode. We'll see how things end up shaping up, whether it be an actual in-person sparring match or a phone call where we just have a response,
real life fist
call
fight.
response.
Yeah,
we'll see.
This will just be a live stream boxing match.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's like celebrity deathmatch, but for football.
All right, for Mitchell, Dustin, and myself, this has been Out of Touch. Appreciate you listening and watching. We'll talk to you next week.